Today, I wanted to talk about your art style and where your art style comes from. For the longest time, I thought, and I still kind of think it's true, but I thought that your art style was simply just an amalgamation of all the things that you were looking at that current time. And while that is true, and while you can mold your style into something that you want via reading only certain books with the style you want. For instance, if you want your style to be like the Spider-Verse style, of course you're going to study Spider-Verse, you're going to watch Spider-Verse, and you're most likely going to buy the art book and try to make paintings like that. But I'm mostly talking for people that want to find their own unique style, something that no one has replicated to that extent. And what I've come to find out is your childhood plays a big role in that. For me, I kind of ran away from my childhood influences because they didn't seem as though they were inspiring enough to other animators and other cartoonists. They seemed kind of like the bare bones of inspiration. What I was inspired by was the basics, quote unquote, which was Cartoon Network shows, Nickelodeon shows, Disney Channel shows, but also Schoolhouse Rock. I was very bad in school in that I could barely learn anything just because it was so boring. I'd rather draw in my sketchbook or play video games. But Schoolhouse Rock was something that engaged me, both because of the songs were very singing family. So a lot of songs in our house, and we grew up Catholic, so there were a lot of church songs. But also the cartoon style I was really drawn into because it was so simple. Specifically, the song Verb that taught you about verbs, that had a very simple art style, which to this day I still try to replicate and I can't do. But it shaped me in a way where I could find the simple cartooning in things where other people had a harder time doing. The problem with that was I didn't want to do that for a very long time because in my head, I thought that if I didn't grow up with Ghibli or Akira or Ghost in the Shell or all these anime influences or even French stuff and like Thief and the Cobbler, if I didn't grow up with very artsy fartsy type of movies that were extremely well done and extremely inspiring, then I feel like I had missed out on becoming the artist that I wanted to be, which I want to tell you right now is not true. I think you will find your style and you will find your unique style when you ground yourself in your childhood influences. And what I mean by that is go back and find the small niche things that you rewatched over and over again, or the books from like the Scholastic Book Fair or the library that you read over and over again, and find the weird thing that you still go back to in your mind every now and then that was a part of your childhood. For me, it was an anime called Bobobo Bobobo, which if you've watched it, you know how crazy it is. But it's mostly just insane gags that will defeat the anime villain. And I think I've unknowingly put that in a lot of my work where things will be solved in the weirdest way. But I wouldn't have understood that if I didn't go back and watch what I grew up with, because I was very ashamed of it in a way for a long time, because it wasn't Akira, it wasn't Studio Ghibli. I still like Porco Rosso, but I found all those movies very late in life during my college years. I really grew up with like SpongeBob and I don't know if you guys remember Kick Batowski. I grew up with that. I grew up with Puka and Shaolin Showdown and all those shows. A lot of people really don't talk about as much in the industry, but they were so influential to me. And I think I have something unique to give because I grew up on those influences. And here's a page that I did just now. I still have to fill in all the blacks and stuff, but it's cartoony in a way where I can kind of play around with the faces and still have them give emotion, and you can tell the tension on what's going on even if you didn't read the lettering. For me, that's very fun, and I had to accept that I was having a lot of fun doing it, if that makes sense. I always felt like if I was more influenced by the more intense anime, beautiful animation that people were so accustomed to, and even the Disney stuff too, that I would become the animator and the comic artist that I wanted to be, but it wasn't true. I think I was mostly just jealous of the fact that my coworkers could do that and I couldn't. But the thing was, they couldn't do what I was doing, which was the simple cartoony stuff. And we could essentially teach each other how to both make a design more complex in an economical way and also simplify in a very fun way. So if you're still looking for your style and you haven't gone back on your childhood influences, I would suggest looking into what made you want to create things as a kid and move forward with that and research it and see why it made you so happy during that time and bring that into your artwork. I think you'll find that one, your art is going to improve because you're having a lot more fun. And two, you're going to find things that a lot of people aren't doing in your own work that you can then bring to a publisher, a animation team, a producer, whatever. I think that's it. Childhood is such a weird thing, but once you embrace it, even the hard parts, I think you're going to find something really special. All right, that's it. Have a good night, guys. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. All right, take care. Bye.